this week's news up until Friday. So Google Google rolled out helpful content. That has now basically been completed. That will always be ongoing, but that has been completed now. And they're saying that the impact is not going to be as huge initially as, if anybody remembers, things like Penguin and Panda. I actually brought these to remind us of the impact those updates had on the search engine. So the initial update won't, you won't see a big massive update on your website immediately, but what they're looking to do, or what they've started to do, they're looking at content as far as is it helpful to the user? So the idea is, if it's just a page chunked up with 2,000 words just to get the keyword variants in there. So if you imagine, if you were doing wedding cars, you've mentioned wedding cars, wedding travel, transport for weddings and all that kind of stuff, just so you could load the pages up with keywords, that is not necessarily deemed as helpful content to the user. So their algorithms is going to be downgrading that content, and apparently it could affect the site wide. So that'd be interesting. And this is going to be, the rollout is finished, but it's, if you imagine, it's not just because you haven't been hit today, you're not going to happen. It's going to be, the algorithm is always running now in the background. So as I was said, unlike Panda and Penguin, the impact isn't immediate. So potentially you might need to be looking at having more helpful content immediately on your pages, not 2,000 words of waffle, for want of a better word. Google is also rolling out updates for meta descriptions. So basically they're listing 4 good styles of meta descriptions and 4 not so good ones. So obviously what would be deemed as a bad meta description is a meta description just full of keywords. And again, yes, they used to work in the day, or back in the day, but today not necessarily. Google knows how to read books and stuff like that. So if your meta description is just a whole string of keywords, that is not deemed helpful to the user. Also, some page descriptions. So if you imagine you've got a page description in your meta description and you're using that on every article or every page, it might be because of your content management system, or because, well, as you create a page and the default might just be, page whatever. If it's just duplicated across your website, that's deemed as not useful, which makes sense, obviously. Not summarizing the page. So if your page is on about XYZ and you've just said, we're really great at ABC, your content in your meta description doesn't reflect the page. And which is part of number 4, is your description too short? You've got plenty of characters, use them to describe the page. So the idea is, you don't want somebody going to that page and they deem that page didn't address their need. So in their better descriptions, things like your homepage and your contact page may be describing the business. So what is the business about and stuff like that. Also, number 2, your web page content in your meta description, try using, so if you've got 3 or 4 paragraphs, maybe a third of a paragraph in your meta description might be more relevant in that box. Another thing is, if you imagine you've got 1,000 words, can that be summarized for your meta description? So that would make a better description. And number 4, which almost reflects number 3, is a description being more detailed. So in this example, we're coming up. So for example, say you had a Ford limo, pearl white, 12-seater adult, up to 6 foot 7 inches tall, on board. Yeah, with onboard alcohol and soft drinks, RGB disco, grey leather interior. So within that description, we've addressed the color of the limo, how many seats, how tall you need to be in that, and also obviously things like alcohol and stuff like that. So, and in the next article, sorry about that. So in the next one, Google is rejecting ads that have intrusive advertising. So if you've got an advert that goes to a page that has got intrusive advertising, So if you can imagine, if you've got a page which basically takes the user, and on that page you've got pop-up ads. So you're advertising on Google, so they'll reject your ad. So your ad is now taken to a page which has further got an advert on there, something like a pop-up ad, or if it plays video automatically with sound. Also on the list, we've got ads that block visitors. This is so annoying. So if you imagine you've got your page and on there is a blocker that you can't see the content until you interact with that ad. Countdown, you normally see this on news websites, so there's something blocking you from reading. Now the problem is, this is an advert which you've seen on Google driving you to that particular page. So you've clicked on the ad, it's now taking you to this page, and you can't do anything because there's a 10-second countdown. Obviously, if you were a premium user, you wouldn't see it. So it doesn't matter you having it on your page, it's you paying adverts to drive people to that page. So what they call a persistent blocker on that page. Large sticky ads taking over 30% of the site itself. So they're not keen on that, which makes sense. And obviously the last one is flashing animation ads. So probably, I suppose, people with epilepsy, that wouldn't be too good for. Onto YouTube. YouTube have announced some new features. This is no surprise. If anybody knows Google owns YouTube. So if there's a money-making opportunity, obviously they'll tap into that. So YouTube have announced educational features. That's for various things, including a distraction-free player. The idea is that these players wouldn't necessarily promote other videos from other creators. Also, they're going to be rolling out courses. So this would be quite interesting how that works with obviously other course suppliers, and quizzes. The quizzes will roll out, I think, 2023. So that'll be next year when they roll out, and that'll actually be in your community tab. The idea is that you could ask questions and stuff like that of your community, and that would actually potentially drive them interest to your course content. So the bulk of that rolls out. At the moment, it's beta testing with a couple of players at the moment, but that will roll out shortly to other creators. So yeah, the community tab is where I think it's 2023. We'll see that. Meta or Facebook has now released 4 of their ranking signals, and they are things that will help your video or your content get more reach. Some of these should be no surprise. Originality, so they're looking for your content to be original. Audience retention, so if you've got a video, how long does that video, what's the retention rate of that video? Audience loyalty, so do they come back? So do they come back because of your content? And also engagement. So things like engagement's quite interesting. Are they posting, likes? Are they sharing it and stuff like that? That's quite important. Negative ranking sides of Meta, that includes engagement bait. So are you doing something to incentivize your users to share and like and stuff like that? You've got watch bait. So this might be what you call it, where there might be something where you're holding back and you're forcing them to watch to the end before they get that nugget of information, which is quite interesting because we do that in videos anyway. And the other one is clickbait. So you've intentionally, what do you call it? Yeah, we all know clickbait. So we've set up something which is not necessarily going to be addressed in that video. On to Instagram. Or want to be TikTok, or Instagram is in flux at the moment. So they're cutting back on their shopping facilities or features. They want to focus more on the e-commerce side. So basically, they're looking to copy TikTok. So Instagram's in flux on that. So as they say, TikTok liked. So the idea is potentially there'll be e-commerce links to Reels now. So that'll be something they'll be playing with if that hasn't already rolled out. On to what we got, WordPress. So this is if you know anybody, or if you're using WordPress 3.7 through to 4, the security updates for them is dropping. If you still got that, I'm way surprised because that's been kicking around for over 8 years now. So you definitely should have upgraded from that. And the last news article is, I'm going to grab a box here. It's storage. So if you're a creator or you have a lot of data, you may have invested in something like a Drobo. They have filed for bankruptcy. This is a couple of months ago. The reason this is quite interesting is the dashboard itself may not be compatible with the next Mac OS update. Apparently it's okay with the Windows, or if you've got an old laptop, an old Mac laptop, that can't be updated. So the control panel will still work with that. Hopefully somebody will actually buy the company and keep the products and services going. If not, that might be something to look at if you have a mass amount of storage on Drobo units. We do as well here. So that's this week's news. If you found it helpful, do give us a tap on the subscribe button, and I'll see you in next week's news.